listeners.
Chatty Chappies.
Here we are again.
Chatty Chappies.
Chatty Chappies.
Chatty Chappies.
Chatty Chappies.
Brian and Andrew on
Chatty Chappies.
Chatty Chappies.
Thank you for turning on Chatty Chappies.
Here we go again.
Well, here we are.
A frosty night.
It is, and we've got through Christmas. And did you have a good Christmas?
Thank you, yes.
Yeah. Like, we were away. It was good.
Yeah.
It was nice to be with the family and that. Now
It
Christmas
is good.
decorations are down. And
People get distracted from the winter and all that sort of thing. But then again, we're there to celebrate the birth of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people don't, and we talked about that in another programme. But that's not the topic for tonight.
no, the topic for the night, now that we're in January
January.
2024, is the man himself.
It's not, is it?
It is. It's Robert Burns.
Robert Burns.
Robbie
Right.
Burns.
Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie. And maybe some of our American listeners might know him better as Bobby Burns.
Oh, Bobby Burns.
In the States.
Is it called
Bobby, yeah. So here we are. We're talking about Scotland's national poet,
Yep.
the man himself. And we are, who was born in the 25th of January.
Yep.
And 17, come on, help me out here.
No, I'm struggling on that one. I know it wasn't Alloa he was born.
It's
Alloway.
Alloway,
Yeah.
and not Alloa next to Stirling.
No.
It's
in Ayrshire.
It's in Ayrshire, south of Ayr.
Now, here's one for you, just when we're trying to work out what the date was he was born. That in Atlanta, Georgia, that's for our American friends, there is a life-size replica of the cottage that Burns was born in Alloway,
Yes.
in Atlanta. And it was built in 1911. There you go. Isn't that
There we
amazing?
go. That's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
25th of January, 1759,
1759.
Alloway in Ayrshire, and he died 40 years later, 21st of July, 1796, in Dumfries.
So he wasn't that old.
He wasn't that old.
No, that's a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Right. And Dumfries.
Yep. So another great musician, songwriter, musician of a more modern era,
Yes.
who died at 40, was, of course, John Lennon.
Was he only 40?
He was only 40 when he died.
Well. Yeah.
And just as a little trivia question, what was John Lennon's middle name?
John Lennon's middle name.
Think back 40 years from 1980 to 1940. Who was a popular figure in Britain?
Churchill.
Yeah, John Winston Lennon.
Winston Lennon. Okay. Right. Yeah. I thought you were going to go on to a conversation about John Lennon being up in the northwest of Scotland.
No, but you could go into the Dingwall. The Dingwall Town Hall, the Beatles in
1960 something,
61, 62, Dingwall, and
the Town Hall, was it?
The Town Hall, and
I've played there.
Yeah, well, you and the Beatles have.
There you go.
Yeah, and
that's my claim to fame.
There was about 30 people turned out because a local band were playing at Strathpeffer Pavilion.
Yeah.
And the whole of Dingwall went to Strathpeffer.
Yeah, there you go, eh?
And the Beatles, who were just breaking out, they were known of, but not, were playing in Dingwall Town Hall.
That was the early 60s then,
It
wasn't
was.
63-ish, probably.
62, 63,
Yeah, Dingwall Town Hall. In fact, I think, is there not a plaque up somewhere?
There is a plaque at the Town Hall that the Beatles have played there on front of about 30 people.
But I don't think Robbie Burns played there.
No. I'm not sufficiently up in the life of Burns. Did he ever actually come up this way? I don't know. No. He was certainly more central Scotland.
Yes.
And was, his, Southwest Scotland,
Yeah.
Edinburgh, obviously, it was the time of the Enlightenment. And
Yeah.
so Edinburgh was very much
And Glasgow too,
and Glasgow.
because it's near Ayrshire.
Yeah.
In fact, the Mitchell Library in Glasgow is believed to house the world's largest Burns collection, including a lot of his work that he'd done. And it's translated into lots of different languages.
Yes.
You know, he's not just Scottish.
No, he's worldwide. In fact, he was very popular in the Soviet Union.
Oh.
For whatever faults they might have had, the Soviets were very cultural.
Yeah.
And there were Burns societies in Scotland who would go to Russia in Soviet era times for Burns suppers.
Mm-hmm.
And they would take all the gear and they would have a Burns supper in Moscow or Leningrad or wherever.
Quite a celebration.
Yeah.
Mm.
That was quite a thing. I never actually met anybody from Scotland Burns societies who had actually been to the Soviet Union with Burns.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was very popular there.
It seemed to be.
But actually, next to Queen Victoria, Christopher Columbus,
right,
there are more statues of Robert Burns around the world than any other non-religious figure.
Wow. So what is it that makes them so popular across the world?
The Scottish diaspora.
Okay.
Yeah. The fact that there are more Scots outside of Scotland.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to have an impact, yeah.
Scotland has populated the world.
Yeah.
Usually because of reasons not of Scottish making. But, you know, Scotland's, Canada, United States, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand.
New Zealand. There's a town named Mossgiel, which is named after Robert Burns' farm in Ayrshire. Okay. So he does get around.
He does. And
get
people,
around.
like, anywhere in the world that is named after places. So, Dallas, Texas.
Yep.
Dallas is a tiny village in Murrayshire.
Yes. California, in Falkirk.
Yeah. There's Inverness, there's Fort
Florida,
Williams,
Inverness,
there's Stirling, there's Elgin.
Aberdeen, New York.
Aberdeen, Elgin in near Chicago.
Yep.
But I think they pronounce it Elgin.
Elgin, right. So we've had a big influence. Perth,
Western Australia.
Western Australia. Mm-hmm.
There are
lots of
places, as there are
influences.
Also places in, you know, so Boston, Washington are towns
Lincoln, all the
in England.
Yeah.
They've all picked up names.
There's only one called Boki.
There's only one called Boki. And I'm sure people could phone in and say, actually, no, I'm phoning you from the city of Kilbokie in, you know.
That would be interesting.
It would.
So if you've heard of another Kilbokie, tell us about it.
Yeah.
Burns fathered 12 children.
Aye.
And his youngest was called Maxwell. Maxwell Burns, yeah. And he was born the day of Burns's funeral.
Was he? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just when we're on this sobering thought about funerals and deaths, in 1815, they actually exhumed Burns's body.
Okay.
And they were going to do a plaster cast. And they discovered that his head was actually quite large.
Okay.
More than the average man's skull.
For that time.
For that time, yeah.
Right.
So, but he's famous for poetry, isn't he?
He's famous for poetry.
For words.
And poetry that has been set to music as well.
Yes.
So I think two of the most famous ones, which many people sing this at New Year. Auld Lang Syne.
Yes.
It's sung across the world on the stroke of midnight. And possibly many people do not know that it was written by Robert Burns.
Yep.
And then there it is.
Yep. Auld Lang Syne.
Yeah. Should old acquaintance be
Be
forgot?
forgot and never brought to mind.
Yeah.
Should all acquaintance be forgot and Auld Lang Syne. Now, is it sign or sign?
I would say sign.
So would I. Sign.
Sign. A lot of people pronounce it as if it's got a Z on it.
Yeah.
It's become, but it's sign.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And then the other one, that's My Love is Like a Red, Red Rose.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly sung in tune. And that, again, is another one that's probably well known, has been heard at many a ceilidh and a party, which, again, maybe not everybody knows it was a Burns. And then we have To a Mouse.
Oh, To a Mouse, Wee Sleekit.
Wee Sleekit, Curian, timorous beastie. Oh, what a panic's in
Yep.
beastie.
Yeah.
And actually, there's a line, the best laid plans of mice and men,
Gang off.
a glee.
A glee.
But it's a title of a very famous novel by the American writer John Steinbeck.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where that of Mice and Men.
Of Mice and Men.
The title of that book comes from Robert Burns.
So he's probably got quite a bit of influence.
He's had a lot of influence over the years.
So the celebration on January the 25th, I think a lot of people would think of two things: what they eat, and then the address
to the haggis.
Okay.
So what we eat, for those who may not know, we eat haggis, neeps and tatties on Burns night. And the reason we eat haggis is one of Burns' poems is the address to the haggis, which starts, "Fair fa your honest sonsy face, great chieftain of the Puddin race. I've been them all your place.
Yep.
Pinch, tripe, or tram. Wheel are your wordy o a grace, as lang's me arm." And I'm not going to try going on because I've not necessarily got the right pronunciation of the words.
We probably need to work on that a little bit.
But it's a tremendous poem.
Yeah, that's good. Anything else quickly on Robert Burns, because we're running out of time?
We've done the mouse. We've done
the haggis, the celebration.
Yeah.
Have you ever done the address to the haggis in a?
No,
neither have I.
No.
I think my struggle would be memorising it all.
Yeah. I would like to be able to do it, and but
it tends to be a good celebration, doesn't it?
It is a good celebration.
A lot of clubs and societies will have a special evening round about that time. Aye. Well, that's it. Time up. I think, is it time for coffee?
I think coffee.
Maybe something. Yeah.
A wee dram.
We're talking about
a wee
dram. Yeah.
There we go.
Well, folks, come back and see us. There's lots of programs to watch. Keep viewing us.
Send us your photos of your Burns suppers.
No, that's an idea. Yeah.
If
photos.
You've been to a Burns supper, take a few photos and send them in. And
stick it into comments. And that would be good. And we'll see you at the next program. Bye for now.
Bye.
You were listening to another program of Chatty Chappies.